Look, I want to be really open about the demands we're making of the UK Labour Government, the UK Chancellor and the Prime Minister. It fundamentally has to be a Labour budget with Labour values and Labour choices throughout. And I think three key things have to come from that budget. It has to be a budget that confronts child poverty, and that's why I want to see the end of the two-child benefit cap. It has to improve living standards, that's why we've got to have a package to lower energy bills. And third, we can't return to austerity like we had under the Conservatives. That has to be the fundamental different approach this Labour government takes. We elected the Labour government for a purpose and a reason, and there have already been huge strides made, for example, in the average mortgage now being £1,500 lower, the average wage being £1,800 higher, the £5.2 billion of additional spending that's now available for our public services here in Scotland, sadly squandered by the SNP, but we need even more progress, and the areas we need to make progress on in this budget are on child poverty. That's why we need the end of the two-child benefit cap, something we've been demanding now for years. We've got to improve living standards, and that's why we have to have a package to lower energy bills, and we can have no return to austerity like we had under the Tories. Well, these are choices that the Chancellor has to make in terms of the fiscal decisions she'll make. She'll set them out in the budget. I've always said my view on income tax. I don't support income tax rises. I've been clear on that for a number of years. And if you look at the income tax rates in Scotland, because it is wholly devolved income tax in Scotland, the person arguing for income tax rise in England and Wales is John Swinney, and he's the same man that negotiated the fiscal framework. It actually highlights the stupidity of the same person modelling the fiscal framework, also being the one that's demanding income tax rises in England and Wales. And he's the man that has breached his manifesto, because in 2021, the SNP promised not to increase income tax, but John Swinney increased income tax for people here in Scotland, where the tax burden is higher for people in Scotland compared to other parts of the country. And we also have the £1 billion growth gap as a result, because they don't use the economic levers we have here. So I'm going to take no lectures from the incompetent and economically illiterate SNP who are failing our country, and that's why in 6 months' time people have a choice. It's not going to be about Keir Starmer, it's not going to be about Rachel Reeves, it's not going to be the ducking and diving that John Swinney is going to try and do to try and blame everybody else. It's going to be a clear choice. A third decade of the SNP with John Swinney as First Minister, or a new direction with me as First Minister and a Scottish Labour Government. And that's a contest I relish.